How's it going, ladies and Bruce's? I'm Bobby Sixkilla. Welcome back to Sound of Drop. Let's get back into it, shall we? Second episode. Let's just do it. That's fine. That's fine. I mean, he seems nice enough, right? Oh, surprising how quick he got into a good mood. Yoshi-san snaps his fingers and rushes to our side. Out! Out! As she says this, Himeno steps in front of me and makes a big X mark with both hands. Mayu, don't be tricked by an old guy like him. He uses kind words to get close to you, but he's thinking weird things inside his mind. Himeno-chan, that's not it at all. What do you mean by weird things, Himeno? Well, Yoshi-san narrows his eyes and grins widely. He glosses over my question and asks, what, Himeno-chan? For some reason, Himeno's face goes red and she grabs me tightly by the wrist. Sexual harassment. Definitely sexual harassment, mister. Without giving Hiyoshi-san a second look, Himeno drags me to the gate. Hiyoshi-san smiles and shrugs his shoulders. The aquarium entrance is so dark that we can't see in front of us until we're inside. I can feel the cold air on my skin. I get a sensation of something heavy causing me to rub my arm. Naturally, there's no mark indicating something's touched me, and, called back by Himeno's, "Hey, let's go," I pass my ticket through the machine. Meh. It figures the whole if you come on the day of a full moon, all the water will change into blood thing is a lie. That water's normal. Of course it is, jeez. Right away, Himeno says so regretfully. Even so, she's still unable to hold back her excitement at having come to the aquarium, and her steps are fittingly light. As we come out of the gate, there are several small tanks nearby. Manten Aquarium's first and most celebrated exhibit is the one displaying fish native to Tokyo Bay. There are 4 tanks in this corner from left to right, each one showing the environments of the river flowing into Tokyo Bay. Brackish waters, shoals, and open water come one right after the other. Himeno giggles at rockfish, porgy, and other fish we recognise from the supermarket are also there. This booth also showcases environmental problems, in order to prompt consciousness on the issue, causing a tightening in my chest. Water pollution's a serious problem. Yeah, it really is. Tomorrow, I think I'll ask my mum to use a little less detergent. I think that's the least of the issues, man. Suddenly it's gotten like this. Himeno's reaction is the polar opposite of mine. Even as I'm reading the panels, she's uninterested in the display. Just like that, I read every last panel. Himeno has long since stopped watching me, crossing her arms and puffing out her cheeks. Thanks for waiting, Himeno. Geez, you're too serious, man. If you act like that the whole time, the day will be over. They'll close. It'll be fine, this area isn't that big, and it's not like I'm going to read everything. As soon as she hears what I said, an expression of dissatisfaction appears on Himeno's face. Well, let's head to the next area. Next is the tunnel tank. There might be ghosts, or maybe that'll be with the human-like fish? Jeez, come on already. Even saying something like that upon entering the aquarium, I had begun to enjoy myself. Upon cheerfully calling out to Himeno, my previous unease has disappeared, leaving me ready to move forward with a light step. Amazing. Really amazing. And pretty. With no door to partition this booth and the next. Passing beside this tank took us to the next one, where larger breeds of fish swam about. This isn't an ordinary tank, but rather a giant tube-like tunnel, with the left and right sides connected above our heads in an arc. I've been to an aquarium like that. It's very cool. As we walk through the tunnel, we're able to watch the fish moving about in 3 dimensions. We bring our faces as close as we can to the glass, giving the illusion that we're in the ocean. Just watching the mantas, the rays, the various types of sharks, and the sea turtles can be intoxicating for us humans. When I was a child, I thought that the ceiling might crack, but now I pass that feeling. Feeling up, leaving only the throbbing in my heart. The water is a giant bundle of blue, various colours within it shooting every which way. Being able to see how big they are up close, separated by mere centimetres of glass, it's so impressive it gives me the greatest realisation of our shared existence. Here, Himeno's pace slows, and she takes her steps one by one. Hey Mayu, look at those huge fangs. Himeno, that fish is cute too. Aw, that stingray's face is creepy. Really, I think it's cute. Ah, a manta. It's huge. That little one over there looks yummy. That's kinda fucked. He's alive still, come on. Talking as the words come to us, the conversation seems out of sync. Our feelings of being touched, however, are the same, and Himeno's enjoyment is obvious. Being surrounded by the water and the fish as we are, we feel as though we're freed from any sense of time. Mayu, doesn't this raised face look human? Maybe so. It does. It does. The mystery of the human-faced fish is solved. Naturally. Well, if you're okay with it, then so am I. Thus we learned the true nature of one of the urban legends. It was fine either way, but for Himeno, this way is probably best. Though from Himeno's enthusiastic stance, even as she watches the fish, she probably realizes how implausible it all is. I'd rather get tired of it though. I'm having fun. We move leisurely through the tunnel, coming to a stop at the centre. Up to this point, only the big things have caught our eyes, but on closer inspection of the tank, there's also sand piled up on our knees. Up to our knees, with shrimp, shellfish, small fish, and other such creatures dwelling there. Compared to the manta rays, the small shrimp, which can't even be considered child-sized, seem so cute and innocent as they swim about, breaking through the sand. Hey, look, Himeno. Ah, it's tiny. As I expected, Himeno has followed the human-faced ray, and on seeing my fingertip, speaks in a playful tone. Upon sensing the tremors from Himeno poking the glass, the ray kicks at the sand and flees deeper into the tank. Man, it's gone now. As I say this to Himeno, I smile at the small shrimp. Himeno does the same, smiling widely. These people are nuts. Before long, the two of us are looking up at the ceiling, toying with the question of just how high it is. Even looking up, we can only see the fish swimming, never the ceiling itself. Looking up from the bottom of the sea, one would normally see the rays of sun piercing the water. Looking up here was the opposite, with the bottom of the sea seeming to continue forever. It could have been the reflection of the light or the ceiling really. Might have been too high. As I realise I can't be sure, my eyes settle on a small but characteristically long-nosed shark swimming past. Sharks? Sharks? That's a ray, isn't it? You just saw it from behind earlier. As soon as I mutter that, Himeno responds. It's true that although I'm interested in this type, Himeno is fixated on the human-faced ray. Huh? What's up? Himeno asks, but I falter. This conversation gives me a sense of what you might call deja vu. How strange. I felt as if I've had this conversation before. At that moment, my vision has dyed ultramarine. And you were? Huh? It was no longer Himeno in front of me, but someone else that had caught my attention. This can't be real. Hey, Mayu. The ultramarine colour changed. Within it, a face like mine passes before me. A face like mine from 5 years ago. Wearing an ultramarine overcoat that merges with the colour of my vision, the girl turns to me and seems to be giving me a gentle smile. Mayu, wait! Mari? Without hearing Himeno calling me back, I start running. We haven't finished looking at everything in the tube tunnel tank, but there's something more important right in front of me. Long hair that looks almost transparent, a thick blue coat, cute boots with fur on them. There was no way I could forget that outfit. It's because it was the outfit of my little sister, Nakanobe Mari, wore when she went missing here 5 years ago. The girl quickens her pace, as if playing with me, and disappears out the other side of the tunnel. There are hardly any people there, but I lose sight of her between the shadows of the tank in the corner. Mari? How? Why? Hey Mayu, wait. Breathing heavily, Himeno chases after me. I say sorry and break away from her, searching for the vision of Mari. As I come out of the tunnel, I survey the area, spotting a winter skirt nearby. I chase after that swaying form. Behind me, I can hear the intensity of Himeno's rushing steps and quicken my pace. Having fallen into a trance, I realise what's going on when I slam into someone and fall onto my backside. And you were? A grumpy one, I see. The girl clicks her tongue as she picks up what she's dropped. As I start to say, excuse me, to her, she's already moving past me and running off somewhere. Because of that brief incident, I'm unable to find a way out of my confusion. Anyway, Marty. I feel bad about the person I'd run into, causing me to feel flustered. In that exchange, I lose sight of both that long hair and that long skirt. But you were going this way, right? I'm not sure myself where I was running to, but I think you can say I'm definitely running with all my heart. I pass between two more tanks than I can remember, but I don't pay them one bit of attention. I just continue following Marty's back, running. Marty is just as bashful as she was the day she disappeared. Mayu, get a hold of yourself. Those few words end my chase. To be more accurate, it was ended by Himeno herself, who grabbed my wrist. Huh? You suddenly took off and you wouldn't turn around no matter how many times I called you. Even when you dropped something, you had no idea. What happened all of a sudden? Wait, Himeno, if I can go after Marty, I'll explain everything, so... Hold it. I look back at Himeno upon hearing her extremely hurt voice. I see tears forming in Himeno's eyes. I turn my whole body to face her. I stand in silence like this for several seconds. If I tell Himeno about Marty, I'm sure she'll regret bringing me to Manten Aquarium. When she followed me, she had to have seen Marty. It's natural she would have some misgivings about me chasing some total stranger, since she doesn't know about Marty. Even so, I'm not sure what to say. If I apologize now and play dumb, we could probably go back to playfully searching the aquarium for information. Well, that's not something I can do. It isn't the similarities that are the problem. Marty is here, and just as she had been on that day, there is no way I can go home without taking her with me. Mayu, tell me what's going on. Who's Marty? Why do you keep running off without saying anything? Tears are pouring out of Himeno's eyes. I can't understand why she's so sad. But still, my little sister. My little sister, she was here. Little sister? See, the girl I was chasing, she's my little sister. Marty disappeared 5 years ago at this aquarium. Looking at Himeno's tear-stained face, I no longer feel like hiding anything. Perhaps in the depths of my consciousness, I'm hoping Himeno will become satisfied and say that she wants to look for Marty with me. I'll explain in more detail later. On top of that, when I look back at her once more, Himeno squeezes my hand and holds me back. This is the gentlest but strongest that she's held my hand. Himeno stares into my eyes and tilts her head to the side. What do you mean you were chasing someone? I told you the little girl that was in front of me, wearing the ultramarine coat and the boots, remember? That was Marty. Exactly how she looked long ago. Mayu, snap out of it. Himeno shouts. It isn't simply a loud voice, but one weighed down with great sadness. It definitely gets through to me, but that doesn't mean it'll stop me. Because without a doubt, I was right. Marty had been here before my eyes. So I had to chase. Let's just say that even if this Marty girl is here, she would have grown in 5 years. Her clothes wouldn't be the same. It's summer, so she wouldn't be wearing a coat. Moreover, she was here. I saw her. No, Mayu, no. Mayu, you weren't chasing anyone. You just took off running, leaving me behind, okay? Could you just calm down for a bit? Our tickets will get us back in. So, how about some cocoa in the rest area? I think you're tired, since you're a little shaky earlier. Himeno seems pretty frantic, so I know she isn't lying just to persuade me. But there's no way that my seeing Marty there was a lie. That's why I started to speak without really knowing what I want to say. Himeno. Mayu, okay? Wiping away her tears, Himeno smiles at me. Surely she has plenty of strong feelings about the whole thing. I'm sure she has loads to say about me keeping the Marty thing and my reason for resisting visiting Manten Aquarium quiet. Even so, it seems as though Himeno has accepted me. She just smiles and lets it go. That's probably right. Surely if we're by the entrance, we'll know if Marty comes out. Mayu, that's good. That's right. That's more like you. Let's go have some cocoa, and you can tell me everything. As she smiles, Himeno once again takes my hand into her soft palm. Oh, that's right, you dropped this. You gotta be more careful. With the hand that isn't holding my own, she hands me something small. It's a keychain. The blue droplet shape is inlaid with stardust, and it also holds a starfish charm. It isn't exactly rare, being a giveaway item. But why did Himeno have it? Only questions arise in my mind. Why, when that keychain was... I'm thinking about it, I instinctively shake off Himeno's hand. Hey, what are you doing? After I picked it up for you and all. Himeno's voice is like an arrow piercing through me. The pain in my chest is nothing more than discomfort. What is Himeno saying? This isn't mine, so I can't possibly have dropped it. And now I can't look at Himeno's face. Liar. Huh? Liar? That's not mine. It isn't something I dropped, it was Marty's. Marty dropped it. That can't be, I'm not lying, really. There was no Marty charm, so she couldn't have dropped the keychain. Himeno was becoming gruff as she continued. Really? Isn't it you who's lying? No one else is here. That's enough, Himeno, you dummy. Oh, harsh language. Saying only that, I turned my back on Himeno. When I glanced back, Himeno's shocked expression is getting further away. She was there. Marty had definitely been there. Because the keychain Himeno had, it belonged to Marty. There was no way I could forget. It was just before Marty went missing. For the two of you, just this once. Upon saying that, Mum handed us each 100 yen coins. That day was a cold winter day at the Manten Aquarium souvenir area. The smell of construction lingered faintly in the air. There were manta and penguin stuffed animals, stationery with the logo on it, and various souvenirs. At the entrance to that souvenir stand, there were the gacha machines containing that keychain. I don't remember all the various types, but star sand was packed in the plastic drops, and the charms were all modelled after fish at the aquarium. It was a fairly typical for a gacha, but at the same time it seemed very enticing to me. It was the same for Marty. As we gazed into the gacha machine. Marty was the one who would usually beg our parents at this point, but neither of us had bought a souvenir, and both of us said we wanted the keychains. Since Mum couldn't be completely broken, she emphasised it one time only, but... Yay! Marty held out both hands with glee, while I probably just smiled. I remember that inside I was just happy. As to which of us went first, it was of course the most assertive Marty. She was always like this, a cheerful and inquisitive child. How cute, Mr. Star. Marty got a starfish charm keychain. At this point, Marty still didn't know the difference between a starfish and a star. I was next to get one. It was a pink drop with a jellyfish charm. Ah, a jellyfish. Ah, that's the one I wanted most. Marty pointed the index finger of a tiny hand, exclaiming in a loud voice. Marty was just learning how to use first person when she mentioned herself instead of the normal I or me. She said it slowly. Hey, big sister, trade me. No way, I want this one. Oh. Naturally, as I'd already fallen in love with the design, I obstinately turned her down. Upon begging my mother for one more time, my mother, who had warned us earlier, held her purse strings tight, leaving Marty to sulk. Fine, stupid big sister. Without listening to my mother's admonishments, she ran off. Sulking after being called stupid, I naturally didn't chase her right away. My mother, being optimistic about the aquarium's small size, also waited a while to go looking for Marty. And we never found her? That's what I'm guessing. And now all I'm left with are my regrets. If only I'd gone after her sooner. If only I'd traded her keychains in the first place. Even so, the past is unchanging, and I'm left with only my regrets to bear. So in case I could ever trade with Marty again, I've stubbornly carried around that keychain. The one with the pink droplet shape and the jellyfish charm. Like a treasure. I rummaged through my bag, seeking to feel the keychain in my hand. Huh? Why, at a time like this, I'd forgotten to bring it. The keychain wasn't in the bag, nor in my pockets. Huh. A sigh naturally slipped from my body. After all, I've lost sight of Marty, and strayed from Himeno. Himeno has the building map, so there's nothing I can do. Huh? At that moment, a pungent aroma floats by and causes me to speak in surprise. Unable to bear the irritating stench, I pinch my nose. Still, the stench seems to twist in my nose. It's made of the smell of sewage, sulphur, and the nauseating stink of vinegar. Vinegar's not that bad. As soon as I try to get away from the smell, something soft creeps along the bottom of my foot. As I hesitantly look down, I realize the true identity of the putrid odor. It's a corpse. I'm not sure what type, but it's as big as my arm span. The body is slowly decaying and hasn't retained its original form, yet by its bulging round eyes and slightly extended tail fin, I could just barely tell it was a fish. Couldn't tell right away, but it has a silhouette similar to a pirarucu? Piraruchu? I don't know. I feel I've seen those eerie, glaring eyes, characteristic of a freshwater fish. I feel sick. I move my foot away slowly, and a small fragment of the corpse sticks to the bottom of my shoe, on the underside of which I notice something wriggling desperately. The slight sound of flapping wings departs from beside my ear, and I understand that the wriggling thing is an insect. Shaking, chills run up my spine as if someone had pressed ice to it. I take a step back and drop my cell phone. The phone reacts with the backlight, and the LCD screen coming on illuminating the dead body. The syrupy dead body absorbs the light, and the winged insect that flees to avoid it. There is also a meandering white nematode that seems to not notice. The backlight soon disappears, leaving its stench amidst the darkness. The shadows of those hideous insects are scorched into my retinas, and they sway like a light off the heat haze in the darkness. Something was creeping up from the pit of my stomach. Better save. Save. Why would we endure it? Let's run. I can't take it. I throw up everything. Oh, okay, the vomit. Yeah, always better out than in, I always say. I throw up everything that had welled up inside me. It doesn't all come up at once, taking 2-3 times of convulsing to get all the vomit out. It was disgusting. Still even more disgusting was the fact that the insects had gathered around my vomit as if it were a feast. What in the world was happening? Why'd I have to relive these memories? I can figure out the answer to my doubts. I can't figure out the answer to my doubts, not at all. I covered my eyes with both hands. I couldn't have made it if I didn't. Shutting out my vision leaves my sense of smell, causing the smell of rotten water and the stench of dead body to become more intense, so I uncover my eyes. No, what is this? This is a place for the customers. Is it really alright for this to be here? On top of that, I was in the middle of chasing Marty, wasn't I? Like, that isn't the problem. It's strange enough that there's a place like this in the middle of an aquarium. Anyway, I have to get out of here. The stench is so overpowering. It's as if I can see it. I want to get out of here quickly, satisfying myself with the argument that it's a garbage dump or something, and that if I only get away, I'll be fine. At any rate, I can go back the way I came. No, that's no good. I might run into Himeno. At this moment, I don't want to see her face. My eyes have adjusted a bit to the darkness. I search for a way out. Here the tanks are broken, little remaining water stinking, and the bodies of living things have tumbled out here and there. I think about how happy I am that I can't see. Even so, to find the exit, I'll have to look around. My nose has begun to go numb, and thanks to that, I'm somehow able to regain my sanity. Before long, I find a dim emergency light behind one of the tanks, and head toward it, as if it were the last hope I could cling to. I feel squishing several times beneath my feet, but I try to ignore it and move on. As I move toward the emergency light, it seems the smell is becoming faint. I get used to the scattered shards of glass and the rotten fish corpses just before I reach the door. The tip of my shoe feels as if it's kicked something hard, something different from before. Wondering what I'd kicked, I casually look down. No. I get the sensation that all the blood has stopped flowing through me, and that my heart has stopped completely. The round thing I kicked has patches of hair, 2 eyes, a nose with a bone to it, and a mouth. Altogether it is... a human face? What? It's not Himeno, is it? That would be dumb. She reacted real bad to Himeno. Speaking accurately, it's a head rather than a face. It's completely lifeless and rolls away with a flopping sound when my foot touches it. Seeing the state the head is in, I begin to feel ill again, despite having finally calmed down from before. Of the white cranium, only the forehead area seems to be exposed. It seems this is new and only just begun to decay. No, for starters, there's no way a human head should be rolling around here. It's my imagination. Or it has to be from some model. I haven't yet looked in the direction it was rolling, convincing myself that it isn't a human head. It really is different, so there's no satisfying myself. I place my hands on the door in an attempt to escape, unable to control my shaking hands. It takes 3 tries before I can open the door. It's a heavy fire door that's usually open. Whoa. This is... I step inside with my thoughts racing, and the atmosphere changes completely once more. I can hear the sound of the door closing behind me. Inside is a very clean place. The transparent water is tinted a faint blue, and inside float fantasy-like jellyfish. Countless pillar-shaped tanks are spread out, and the water shimmers as it reflects the light of the fluorescent lamp. Red and yellow, green and purple, the jellyfish bodies diffusing light like a prism. In spite of the strange space I've reached, I'm fascinated by the shimmering light. Live art display. Himeno, I mutter without thinking. Then I quickly shake my head, erasing the image of Himeno's face that appears in my mind. Earlier she didn't come after me. After all, Himeno chose on her own to part ways from me. She said she was dumb, but okay. I'm sure it's because she dislikes me now. It isn't something I should worry about. What? Even at a quick glance, I can see the various types of jellyfish in the tank. Having made efficient use of the small space, it's a charming area. It vividly expresses the starry sky, as is fitting of the name Manten Aquarium. Compared to the earlier Fish of the World booth, this one isn't the least bit in decay. I wonder if Murray came this way. Shit, we gotta save. Going back is dangerous. I can't do anything by stopping here. I have to press on. I feel worried about Himeno all of a sudden. I should go back. Yes, we should go help Himeno. I agree. I feel worried about Himeno all of a sudden. I'll go back. Upon thinking whether or not it's alright for me to just enjoy something so pretty, I reached the door behind me. Even though we fought, he and I are friends. Sharing such a lovely memory will surely help us make up quickly. I stepped forward, and it's at that moment. Huh? When I opened the door and stepped through, there is no fish of the world booth. Before I could even rationalize the scene before me, I'm pulled in by some sort of swell. Trying to figure out what's wrong, I realize I'm having trouble getting air. I really want to breathe. I really want air, so I pause for a breath. My mouth fills with a fishy stench, brine, seawater. I know from the salty taste that I've swallowed seawater. The reason I can't breathe is because all around me is ocean water. I understand that I'm in the ocean, devoid of light, no sound, in the darkness. Wondering why I move my limbs. At this rate I'll drown. It hasn't been more than a minute since I got pulled under the sea. How many seconds have passed at this point? No, that isn't it. I have to get above water. However, up to this point, there has been no light overhead, and I'm forced into an inevitable battle with my despair. I frantically endure my suffocation, swimming higher and higher. Suddenly being thrown into the water has thrown off my sense of up or down, as the desire to live serves as an instinct to guide me upward. I still can't see, but I'm alright. Just like that, I seem to have answered my own question. I can feel the clothes I'm wearing becoming heavy. However, if I have the time to shed my clothes, then I have time to continue upward. My thinking is that alone. I've heard that there is high pressure in the deep part of the ocean that crushes any living thing, but my body's completely fine. That means where I am at the moment shouldn't be all that deep. If I swim hard enough, I should make it. I just have to hit the surface and take a deep breath. How many seconds have passed at this point? I have no sense of time whatsoever in the darkness. Even so, I know that some time has passed since I got thrown into the ocean. A minute probably passed a while ago. Here, my consciousness has begun to fade. Immediately after I see the darkness of death, a small light illuminates the tip of my nose. Because I've been swimming so frantically, I haven't noticed, but it seems as though I have gone up quite a ways. It'll all be alright. The surface is close. I reach out my hand, reach out toward that light. That's all I can do. That's because my legs won't move. No matter how frantically I try to move them, my legs won't even quiver. It feels as if something has ensnared them. It has the elasticity of a bottomless trampoline. From the tips of my toes to my rear end, that soft sensation wraps tightly around me. I want to think this is a lie. And I've actually decided I'll not believe it. That a giant octopus has wrapped itself around my legs. Its gum-like suckers are the size of the palms of my hand. I can't even imagine how large its entire body is. The light is getting further away. My eyes have already closed. For some reason, Himeno's smiling face floats before me, though it should be her angry face that I see last. Just like that, I'm in the darkness. As much as it has tightened up, my legs have lost feeling. No wonder, my legs are no longer what they once were. With the depletion of my oxygen supply, my brain has already changed into a machine for merely processing my situation. Within the darkness, it dispassionately communicates my non-existent will to my four limbs, which have all lost sensation. It won't be long before the only thing I can sense is darkness. That's because I've already become a part of that darkness. Into the silent abyss. Is that a bad end? Did I get a bad end? Sure did. And we drowned. Well, that sucks. Well, it's the perfect time to do it though, because we're out of time for this episode. Well, you know, we're a minute away. We'll wrap it up here, jump back into that last choice, and we'll go the other way. I just wanted to help Himeno, jeez. I mean, I feel like we were a bit of a dick to her, to be fair. You don't just throw your friends away that easily. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you in the next one.